I think we're on. What's happening here? Right. Well, sorry, guys. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So we are talking about the news of the day. The global terror threat. New Year's Eve has been cancelled in multiple places. Now, that's not me making it up. That's from, there's many mainstream media reports on that. So I'm going to give context on that as well. I'm just looking at my headlines here. I've got a few other things to talk about. I think I'm going to do them in separate live streams, though, because they just don't fit into this. So I've got new council houses to be built for asylum seekers in push to end use of hotels. I said this would happen, right? I said everybody's pushing to get the migrants out of the hotels. I was like, whoa, bet the devil you know. So it does look like the government are getting the migrants out of the hotels by putting them in council houses that we've paid for. So there we are. Excuse me. Labour will destroy special forces. I think I might do that at the end, actually. Yeah, I will, because that will come into what we're talking about today. And we've got heavy snowfall forecast for New Year's Day as Met Office issues warnings. I think I'll do that as a short video as well. Right, so let's just get on to this, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, everyone. So if you've not done so already and you're on, please make sure you hit that like, comment, subscribe, the bell notification, all those things that help this channel grow, because ultimately, it's only your fighting thing. It's only your fine fingers. And what I'll do, I've just been chatting to the guys on, I've literally just been chatting to the guys on TikTok for quite a while, and I forgot the time. So what I'm going to do, as normal, I will start my opening monologue. I'll then close you guys down on TikTok, because let me get my cup. Let me get my cup. Hang on. Where is it? I'm just getting my cup. So there we are. Right. Can you guys see my cup there? Like, if I have a drink of this, you guys can see that, right? If I have a drink of this on TikTok, I will get that. Thank you for the gifts, Dave. Dave's giving some gifts. If I drink this on TikTok, I will get a restriction. So I'll do my opening monologue. I'll turn you guys down on TikTok, and then I will continue the live stream on YouTube. Anyway, without further ado. As of today, guys, December the 31st, several major cities around the world have cancelled or significantly scaled back their New Year's Eve celebrations. This is primarily due to heightened security concerns. These include a mix of specific terror threats, risks of crowd crushes and stampedes in large gatherings, public disorder, and sensitivities following recent violent incidents. I think, and this is just what I'm thinking, guys, this is my own opinion. I think a lot of these, a lot of the reasons that they're closing these, that they're making them up. I think the real reason, and this is just what I think, is bad guys going stabby, rammy, shooty. That's what I think the real reason is. And all the other reasons that people are making up, are saying, I think that's just folly. That's just switch and bait. So there was a chilling warning. There was a chilling warning which refers to an ongoing, and I'll share the article with you guys in a second. There was a chilling warning which refers to the ongoing intelligence alerts about potential attacks on holiday events, including FBI assessments highlighting lone actors and small ideologically driven groups as the most persistent threat to crowded celebrations. This follows real incidents foiled in 2025. So obviously there was the attack on Bondi Beach. There have been foiled bombing attempts in Los Angeles. And I believe there was the arrest in a mass arrest in Turkey that were planning a New Year's Eve attack. Again, like I always say with these things, do we think that's it? Do we think we've caught them all now? Because like every time I say it, it seems like more people get arrested. So I don't know. When I was talking about the biggest terror attack in the United Kingdom foiled. When I was talking about that, I said, right, do we think that's everyone now? Do we think that that's everyone that's been, all the bad guys have been captured? That's it. Everybody's safe. Turns out there have been quite a few arrests since then. Many iconic events are proceeding with enhanced security, i.e. Sydney Harbour, Paris, Arc de Triomphe, New York Times Square, London, Berlin, Las Vegas, but specific high-risk gatherings have been cancelled. And it is like, it is a very peculiar world that we're living right now. It's so peculiar. Like the world right now where we live, it's so weird. Like we all know, like anybody with a pair of eyes, like understand why these threats are, right? We all understand why, we all understand why we're a bit nervous going to Christmas markets. We all understand why we have to have these bollards by Christmas markets and large gatherings. We all understand. Yet, and we all understand that there's more of this stuff coming over the water like every day. We all understand that, the potential risk, because we don't know. We all understand that. Nobody's under any illusion that that's not the thing, right? And I would like, and if anybody wants to argue with me intellectually, absolutely fine. So we're all here. We're all looking. And I know it's easy to, and I know it's easy to point the finger at these people coming over the boat on the boats. Now, that I understand the problem is a lot deeper. Like it really is. The problem's a lot deeper. The problem is a lot deeper with first, second generation migrant families. So I understand the problem is a lot deeper. But if we're ever going to solve the problem, we need to start. And the starting block for me is being able to stop those boats. Anyway, so I am oversimplifying things. I understand that. So when we're looking, at these, when we're looking at these boats coming over, and that would potentially be in direct proportion of having, our Christmas cancelled, Christmas barriers put up, New Year's Eve celebrations cancelled. We all know why. We do, and it's such a weird. I don't even know how to if you was an alien looking down, right? I love doing the aliens. If you were an alien looking down, right? And you're looking down at the United Kingdom right now and you're thinking, right, okay, well, how do these guys want to, well, why don't they just stop that? I don't know why they don't just stop that. It's just so peculiar. And for the government, have you heard some of the people now talking about Keir Starmer? It's phenomenal. It really is. I heard that guy, Eddie Hall. Is it Eddie Hall? He's like the strong one. I think his name is Eddie Hall. Although I'm thinking it might not be Eddie. I don't know. He's like this big. I think he's like the world's strongest man or something. I don't know. I'm pretty sure his name's Eddie Hall. Or it might be. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. And he did an interview the other day, and he was calling Keir Starmer words that I just won't repeat. And, more power to him for it. I kind of try and steer away from swearing. And then I saw a Jimmy Carr sketch. And it's just really fascinating. And, nothing's going to get better. Nothing's going to get better. People are saying Keir Starmer's gone. He's not gone. He's going to be there as the prime minister at the next election, if we have another election, because like I said, we're in this really weird transitional period at the moment where we're not quite in the crisis, but things are certainly not normal. I just want to get it over and done with so we can build spaceships. I really do. Sorry, I was going off on a sidetrack. Right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're on right now, we are talking about the global terror alert, global terror threat. New Year's Eve events have been cancelled all over the world, and those that haven't been cancelled have been scaled back, and those that haven't been scaled back have got enhanced security. So I'm going to give you guys a list of what we know so far. So Sydney, Australia, Bondi Beach. All New Year's Eve events on Bondi Beach have been cancelled, including the Bondi Music Festival and local lawn parties. The decision by the local council was for public safety and compassion for the Jewish communities after the recent terror attacks. We've got France, Paris, France. The popular live music concert and street party has been cancelled on police recommendation due to fears of unpredictable crowds. That's what the police are saying, guys. Unpredictable crowds. Tokyo, Japan, annual New Year's Eve countdown event outside Shibuya Station has been cancelled. Reasons include risk of stampede, public intoxication, rowdy behaviour, and potential for gatherings to become terror targets. Look, guys, I'm not making it up. This is what's on mainstream media, right? Belgrade, Serbia, all organised New Year's Eve celebrations are cancelled. All of them in Serbia, guys. All of them cancelled. Belgrade, Serbia, all public New Year's Eve celebrations have been cancelled, including concerts, out of caution, noting that many attendees would be families and children. We shouldn't have to live like this, guys. We shouldn't have to live like this. Like, what's so offensive about a New Year's Eve? Surely that everybody wants to celebrate. I mean, I get why people don't like Christmas, but surely everyone wants to celebrate the New Year's Eve, right? Hong Kong. The traditional Victoria Harbour fireworks display has been cancelled or replaced with a smaller laser light show or something. These oh God, excuse me. Yes, I've got a cough that would take out a battalion of Royal Marines, and I'm taking it myself. These decisions affect tens of thousands of people, revelers, and tourists, with authorities emphasizing precaution amid an elevated global threat and environment. Smaller private or controlled events are still allowed, and many cities have ramped up policing, barriers, and monitoring instead of full cancellations. This situation reflects a broader trend of prioritizing safety for mass gatherings in 2025. Right, listen, guys, I'm going to get some, in fact, I'm going to close you guys down now on, I'm going to close you guys down on TikTok. I'm going to continue this live stream for, I don't know how long I'm going to continue this live stream for, maybe about another hour or something. I'll be over on YouTube. I'm the Real Raven 1 on YouTube. I'm the Real Raven 1, well, I'm the Real Raven 1 on everything. I am streaming as well on Twitch. Is it Twitch? I think it's Twitch. I'm streaming on Twitch. I don't know what my handle is on Twitch. I've set Twitch up and I am streaming on Twitch, but I don't know my handle on it. I'll have to find that out. Anyway, guys, you lot on TikTok, I will be closing you guys down. I will. I think I'm going to come on shortly after and I'm going to do another live stream on this story that new council houses are to be built for asylum seekers in a push to end use of hotels. So I am gonna. They just don't fit together. They don't fit together. So I think I'm gonna come straight back on and do a live stream of that. Anyway, you fantastic lot on TikTok. I'm gonna close you guys down now, and I will just be streaming because you know what? I've got my coffee here. They can see it. They can see it on. Oh, they can see it. I've got my coffee here, and I want to drink my coffee. And if I drink it while I'm streaming on TikTok, I'll get it taken down. Anyway. You guys on TikTok, I'm going to close you guys down now. If you want to jump over, fine. If not, I'll be back on later today. Are we gone? No, we're not gone. We're gone. Oh. Right, let me jump up and get some of these comments. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're on right now, we are talking about the global terror threat, and New Year's Eve looks like it's being cancelled. Like I said earlier, we don't have to live like this. We're in this very peculiar time. We're in this very peculiar time in the world where we understand what's the problem. We understand the dimensions. We understand what needs to be done. But nobody see it like you. People are too scared to say it because you literally get sent to prison. Templar Matt is saying Keir Starmer should be arrested on Keir Starmer should be arrested on treason charges next time he's in public. His security should be overpowered and Keir Starmer arrested. He works he works for the people. Look, all these problems, right? All these problems that we have at the moment, they all stem back to one fundamental dynamic, right? We can't oppose the government. Oh, let me have some coffee before it goes cold. So we don't have here in the United Kingdom, we don't have any way. God, it is cold in here. We don't have any way in the United Kingdom to oppose the government. Whether, you know, and that's not a good thing, right? That's not a good thing, because what happens is, like I was saying earlier, we're in this very peculiar time in the world where we understand what the problems are. We understand everybody. Like, if somebody you point to me somebody who doesn't understand why we have to have these diversity barriers, why the price of everything at these Christmas market is just like skyrocketing, why people seem to be sad and walking with their heads down, and why no one seems to make eye contact anymore. You find me someone who doesn't know why that is, and I'll find you a liar. Straight away, guys, straight away. We all know what the problems are, and surely the government know what the problems are, but here's the thing, right? If you can't hold the government to account, what power do you have? Literally, what power do you have if you can't hold the government to account? You know, and it's ultimately, you know, the government run the monopoly on violence, right? You know, if you've done something wrong, and ultimately, you know, if things are not backed up by force, they're not backed up by anything, right? You know, if I don't know, something benign, right? Say you get a parking ticket, right? Yeah, I think this is a good one. Say you get a parking ticket, yeah? You get that parking ticket and you say, you know what, I'm not going to pay that. They send you like, I don't know, a summons. I've had plenty. Then like you've got to go to court, and if you don't go to court, they're dealing with it in your absence, and then they send the debt collectors, and if they don't send the debt collectors, you get like the bailiff, and then if you don't respond to the bailiff, they come with the police. So ultimately, the government own the monopoly on violence, right? Now, if they own the monopoly on violence, how can you resist? You can't. And look, guys, I'm not calling for violence at all, but we do need to be. We do need something. Is it beyond the realms of possibility to say that people in the United Kingdom deserve the legal framework to oppose a tyrannical government? Does that seem beyond the realms of possibility? Do you know what? I'm going to do a live stream on that as well. I'm going to do 2 separate live streams this morning, guys. Does it seem, this is a question, like, does it seem like you're asking for too much? Does it seem that you would be asking for too much if you asked for the ability to oppose a tyrannical government? Does that seem beyond the realms of possibility? Oh, no, we can't give you that right. Why? Are you a tyrant? No, but we might be soon. Like, the question is one of fundamental human rights. Anyway, sorry guys, I'm going down the excuse me. I'm going down the wrong track. Right, let me jump on here and give you guys some more context on this. So if you're joining for the first time, as of today, several major cities around the world have cancelled or significantly scaled back New Year's Eve celebrations. Now, this is primarily due to heightened security concerns with a mix of specific terror threats, risk, and then they're saying I think that's the main one. And then they're saying there's risks of crowds, risks of crime, risks of stampede, you know, and an uptick in violent crime. That's the reality right now. So we do have all over the world, lots of major cities who are cancelling, scaling back, or really heightening their security. Yeah, we spoke about this yesterday. So there's been this Afghan man. And look, you know, is anyone doing pattern recognition? Hang on. Has anyone done pattern recognition on this yet? You know, and this just brings in, what we were talking about earlier when we said we have no way of, you know, earlier on I was talking about the concept now of we're in this very peculiar space where we understand what the problems are. We're doing these pattern recognitions, right? Where we're seeing these gangs of men attack, I don't know, something totally random, 12-year-old girl. And we're seeing the pictures of these gangs and we're thinking, another gang in another town. And we're thinking, oh, okay. I'm starting to see pattern recognitions now. And, you know, these, oh, hang on a minute. Googleino is saying, no more yapping. I do go on a yap, guys. I do. I go on a yap and I go on a side quest. I do go on a few side quests. £2 to Sean's tomahawk steak. Listen, listen, forget the tomahawk steak. I need another log burner in here. Like last night, it was absolutely freezing. Honestly, like it was beyond cold in here last night. In the mornings, it's not too bad because you've got like the sun coming in. Read the 2 articles above. Yeah, we've done the Afghan man. Yeah, I mean, look, guys, you know, all over the world, there are like, can you imagine, right? Can you imagine being like a government and you are, can you imagine, right? You know, you're a government and you've got to have these New Year's Eve celebrations because if you don't, you know, well, there's that meme, isn't there, with that, hang on. There's that meme, you know, with the guy and he's like, there's 2 buttons and he's sweating. You guys have seen it, right? And it says something about it. Literally, that's how governments are at the moment. It's like, have New Year's Eve celebration and potentially have an attack so people understand that diversity and multiculturalism is not working, or cancel New Year's Eve and let people know you know, multiculturalism and diversity is not working. That's where we are right now. Oh, hang on, there's been an update here. Okay, so there's been an update 12 minutes ago. London fireworks warning as Sydney and Paris cancel 2026 celebrations. Right, I'm going to share this with you for 2 seconds and then I'll turn it off. Let me share this with you for 2 seconds and then I'll turn it on. This has just come on in the last 12 minutes, guys. Give me a second. So this is what I'm going with here. This has just come out 12 minutes ago. I didn't want you guys to look at the ad. You guys don't need to look at those ads. You should be looking at my ads. New Year's Eve live, London fireworks warning as Sydney and Paris cancel 2026 celebrations. New Year's fireworks goers in London have been given a warning as Sydney, Paris, and other cities brace. Fucking hell. Brace for the celebrations, guys. I'm not making that up. You guys check this out. Article out yourself. This was released 12 minutes ago. London and cities across the world are bracing to welcome 2026. UK has a large number of people expected to arrive for the show. Is anybody going to go? Really? Are people going to go there? I can't think of anything worse. Honestly, I can't think of anything worse than that pushing and shoving, and you're holding a pint in a plastic glass and your fingers are freezing. As a result, visitors have been warned to avoid large parts of central London due to congestion, including Big Ben, the London Eye, Trafalgar Square, Victoria Embankment, Tower Bridge, London Bridge, Waterloo Bridge, and Southwark Bridge. Like, where are they supposed to go then? Avoid everywhere. Yeah, it's just... I think the article here, it says it first in the headline. New Year's Eve fireworks goers in London have been given warning as Sydney, Paris, and other cities brace for 2026 celebrations. Like, if you're bracing for something, right? I remember when I was in the army and it's like if we was doing a TALO, which is Tactical Air Landing Operation, I think. Tactical air, yeah. So a tactical air landing operation is where you're in the back of a C-130, you come in hard, and you just stove the plane in. The plane, it lands, the back comes off, and everybody just gets out as quick as possible. That's called a tactical air landing operation, or a TALO, T-A-L-O. I remember doing them, and the pilot would shout, brace, 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 and you knew it was coming. You knew it was coming, and you were just holding on for dear life. You're literally holding on for dear life. So when I hear brace, it's not a good thing. Also, when I've been in helicopters and they've had problems and they've had to come in for hard landings, they shout brace, right? So brace, to me, I don't know, like, if you were going somewhere and somebody told you to brace, would you think it was a good thing? Would you like, oh, it's a good thing we have to brace? No, it's not. Roxanne is saying they may all be the same, but if you don't vote or go for someone with no MPs, you'll let the tit whisperer Jack Polanski in. Worse than Labour. It's so weird, isn't it? It's so weird, this like, the world. Look, guys, it's so weird, the world right now. It's so peculiar. Did you see the first message at the very top? Let me go up. No, I didn't, but I have now. Danny Walker is saying, I had a bad dream the other night. This was going to happen. So Danny is saying he had a bad dream. Danny had a bad dream the other night that this was going to happen. Danny, out of context, have you ever had any dreams that have come true, like in the past? They don't have so the granddaughter of JFK dies at 35. I think she died of I think it was cancer. They don't have a very good they don't have a very good the Kennedys don't really have a very good track record, do they? Civil defense bunker. Civil defense bunker. Do you build bunkers? So I think one thing that's notable from the World War III front, and I'm not talking about that today, but I will jump on it as soon as you've asked. This proposed drone attack on Putin's house. Now, yesterday on the live stream, somebody, I can't remember who it was, but somebody asked me, Sean, what do you think about this? Do you know what, actually? Don't you think it's ironic, right, that Anthony Joshua, great, Nigerian guy, lives in the United Kingdom. He waves the Nigerian flag, right? He waves the Nigerian flag. He fights for Nigeria. He goes to Nigeria on his time off, has a car crash in Nigeria. But yeah, I'm flying back to the UK for some medical treatment. Interesting. Anyway, sorry, that was a little side quest. Right. The other day there was allegedly, okay, right, let me rephrase this. The other day there was claims by the Russians that the Ukrainians had attacked Vladimir Putin's house. Now, I jumped on when people were asking me this. I was saying, right, okay, we need to look at this objectively. Where's the evidence? Like, first of all, where's the evidence of this? That's what I'd be wanting to look at. Is there like part of his house collapsed? And I do think, because I'm going to go against what Trump was saying. Now, Trump was saying that you shouldn't target the leaders. And I think you absolutely should. I think leaders in a war are absolutely fair game. These guys are in a war. They shouldn't be in a war, but they are. And I do think leaders are fair game. I do. I think leaders are fair game. Templarette Millie is saying Russian buzzer been playing Swan Lake. Yeah, so the significance of Swan Lake in the significance of Swan Lake in Russian culture is they normally play Swan Lake when the government's collapsing or when a government's collapsing. So that is the significance of Swan Lake. Hang on. Civil Defence Bunker saying he's got air raid sirens for speakers. That's pretty impressive. I'm not going to lie. That's pretty impressive. Danny is saying this one is had the other night was a mass scale across the UK. Yeah, look, I mean, we're living in that time, right? You know, where these things are. Do you think, for example, right now, somewhere in the United Kingdom, in the world, you know what? Let's stick with the United Kingdom and then let's replicate that all over the world. So do we think that there are people somewhere, potentially, this is a question, guys, so I shouldn't get my, it's a question, right? Do you think that there are some people in the United Kingdom planning to do bad stuff? I know that's vague. And John Scott has sent a super and saying, I totally agree. Leaders are fair game in war. Yeah, you know, so when Trump was saying, if I'll come back onto that in a second. Where was I? Roxanne is saying Anthony Joshua is a massive racist. Anthony Joshua is a massive... Like, can you remember when he went down and he said, don't spend your money in white people's shops? So here's the thing, right? Do you think that there are people in the United Kingdom planning bad things on the United Kingdom? I've shared you guys plenty of videos that would give you, you know, at least some evidence, of what's happening. Right, let me jump onto this question here. Comment, yeah. So John Scott is saying, I totally agree. Leaders are fair game in war. Yeah, so Donald Trump came out the other day when we were talking about this potential drone strike. And remember, there's no evidence of this drone strike ever happening. But Donald Trump said, like, it shouldn't happen. And I'm thinking, well, like, absolutely it should. And look, guys, I'm not like, you know, I'm certainly not telling people to attack Putin. What I'm saying is all world leaders should be fair game in a war. Like, if Keir Starmer gets us into a war with the Russians, like, Keir Starmer should be fair game, right? For the Russians. Absolutely, you should. You know, and I say that, like, with the most respect to all world leaders, you know, if there was a little bit of threat that they're going to get hurt, maybe they wouldn't start these wars. Okay, so I think Google is talking about here the Afghan man who was. I think Google is talking about the Afghan man who attacked the hospital, with a crowbar. Look, you know, it is. It's just this method, isn't it? You know, lone wolf, mental health. It's our fault. You know, and these things just keep happening. And from what Googlino is saying, it seems like this guy's claiming mental health. Danny is saying, yes, definitely. And there will be attacks in every city at some point at the same time. I think so as well. I think that's a big, it's a big threat. It's a big threat right now. You know, the multi-pronged attack the multi-pronged attack. So tonight, for example, you know, there's going to be lots of police officers not turning up for work. There's going to be lots of police officers and fire engines and all the rest of them. They're not going to want to turn up. So that, you know, the emergency services are going to be on a skeleton crew tonight. That's the reality. That is that, you know, is it Friday? No, it's not Friday. Because they're going to want to go and be with the families, right? You know, so if there was going to be a time to do a big attack, it's these big events. Googlino is saying Beijing deploys submarines to the Arctic in aggressive military move, sparking US fear. So with global warming, and you've got to be clear, I don't think, this is me personally, I don't think humans have that much of an effect on global warming, but I do think they do have some effect in the same context, right? That if you let's say there's a hurricane, right? Let's say there's a hurricane, and you know it's hitting your house. If you go outside in that hurricane, right? If you go outside in that hurricane and fart, you are contributing to that hurricane, right? You're contributing to that hurricane. Are you? Have you made the hurricane? No, of course not. But as the Earth warms up, and it is warming up, as the Earth warms up, that Arctic, all the Arctic, you know, the Arctic, what would you call it? The Arctic Circle. The Arctic Circle. There's not as much ice, so you can open that up now for trade routes. And Temple Matt is saying Keir Starmer should be held under the Mental Health Act. Maybe he should. Well, the flu is going around, so they will be calling in sick. Do you know what, guys? I got the flu, and I got it the other day. I felt myself going down. I thought, do you know what? It's taking right. I don't. What articles? Let me have a look. Done that one. Vladimir Putin orders armies to invade two. Oh, wow. Let's have a look at this one. This is a huge one. This may be a standalone. Okay, right. I'm reading this now. Putin orders fresh invasion land grab in Ukraine to seize more territory in 2026 in brazen snub. Okay, I don't know where they're getting this information from. Vladimir Putin has ordered his army to expand the war in Ukraine in 2026. Russian commanders have been instructed to invade swaths of... Right, okay, that's not a country. Right, I'm trying to find this country thing. That's not the country. Where are you reading that from? There we are. I've got it. Vladimir Putin orders armies to invade two more European territories in the new year. With peace talks no closer to completion, Vladimir Putin has ordered new... look, guys, if I'm reading this from the Mirror, and they say at 7:40. back? Am I back? I don't know what just happened. I don't know what just happened there, guys. I don't know just what happened. So am I back on? I think I'm back on. I think I'm back on. Right. So, yes, I'm back. I don't know what happened there, guys. I do apologize. You know what? I don't apologize. It's not me. It's the internet. So, yeah, I've just read that article. Vladimir Putin orders armies to invade 2 more European territories in the new year. The headline is a little bit misleading because what they're saying is it's true. It's true, but the 2 more territories are Ukrainian territories. So it's 2 more territories that Vladimir Putin wants to invade in the new year, which are in Ukraine, which would be true because they're in Europe. But the headline makes it seem like Putin wants to attack 2 more European countries, which, it is what it is. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, listen, guys, if you're joining now for the first time, we have been, I want to jump back on track and I want to go through my opening monologue again. I want to go through my opening monologue because there is a global terror threat right now. There's a global terror threat. Many major cities around the world have been either cancelling, scaling back, increasing security on their New Year's Eve celebrations. That's the reality, all right? So let me just give you guys some, Let me just give you guys some... Let me just give you guys some context on this because all over the world, and, we're in such a weird place, where we all know the problem. We all know the problem. We're all telling the government the problem, but the government are in total denial. Total denial. And everybody wants this, everybody wants this new political leader or some sort of new... Honestly, guys, honestly, without the rights to defend ourselves against a tyrannical government, we have nothing. Nothing. Zero. Less than zero. So everybody's wanting to vote for this guy and vote for that guy, and we've got this new plan and we've got this new piece of legislation. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Because without the people having the legal tools to hold the government to account, it's like, imagine telling your kids, right? Imagine telling your kids you're going to punish them, but they know that you're not allowed to punish them. How are they going to react? They're going to do what they want, right? Right, I'll punish you. How are you going to punish me, Dad? You've got no legal framework to punish me. Yeah, but I will. I'll really punish you. Go on then, tell me how. Tell me how you're going to punish me. You can't. I think I need... Anyway, right. So as of December the 31st, guys, several... I'll just give you this context and I'll come on to the chat. I spoke about this at the beginning, but I want to do it again because I want people to understand where we are right now. So several major cities around the world have cancelled or significantly scaled back New Year's Eve celebrations. This is primarily due to security concerns. Now, you guys can add what those what do you think the security concerns are, guys? Do you think it's the Norwegian fishermen? I think maybe, I don't know. I wouldn't want to highlight a certain group, but I think it could be the Norwegian fishermen. These include a mix of specific terror threats. Excuse me. And then they've thrown in the risks of crowds, crushes, stampedes, like we never had them before. And sensitivities. There's been a chilling warning, which refers to ongoing global intelligence alerts about potential attacks on holiday events, including a joint FBI and DHS assessment highlighting lone actors, small ideologically driven groups, and of course, we've got the new one now in the United Kingdom with people suffering from mental health. People suffering from mental health going stabby, stabby, rammy, rammy, These are the most persistent threats to crowded celebrations, i.e., rabby, rammy, rammy, bomby, bomby, shooty, shooty, crowbary, crowbary. This follows real incidents that have been foiled in 2025 and before. Many iconic events are proceeding with enhanced security, i.e., Sydney Harbour fireworks, Paris Arc de Triomphe, New York Times Square, London, Berlin, Las Vegas, but all specific high-risk gatherings have been cancelled. That's just the reality. We're having New Year's Eve cancelled. And again, we all know why, right? We all know why. I know that you know why we're having New Year's Eve cancelled. So I'll give you the list of cancellations that I know of so far. So Sydney, Bondi Beach, all New Year's Eve events have been cancelled. Now, this is the music festival that's usually on Bondi Beach. Now, this is in compassion for the Jewish communities because obviously they had the terror attack there on was it the 14th? I think it was. Paris, France, Champs-Élysées, I think I'm pronouncing that, Champs-Élysées. The popular live music concert and street party has been cancelled on police recommendations due to fears of unprecedented crowds. Yeah, I'm sure that's why. Tokyo, Japan, their annual New Year's Eve countdown has been cancelled. Excuse me. Belgrade in Serbia, all public New Year's Eve celebrations have been cancelled, all of them. Hong Kong, their traditional Victoria Harbour fireworks display has been cancelled or replaced with a laser show. Sounds gay. These affect, tens of thousands of people, with authorities emphasising precaution amid elevated global threat environments. And this is where we are right now, ladies and gentlemen. We're having Christmas markets cancelled. We're having New Year's Eve's cancelled. Where are we going to be next year? Like, where are we going to be next year? Are we all going to be just hiding in our house? Do you see that beyond the realms of possibility? Like, do you see that beyond the realms of possibility now where, like, everything's being cancelled? If people acted like there was a framework in place already, then that would make it public interest. Then we can make a framework later. It's better to act now than make it later. That wouldn't happen, right? So what I mean by a framework, okay, so what I mean here by a legal framework to oppose a tyrannical government, right? This is what you would do. So let's use the real world example, right? Let's use the Bell Hotel in Epping. Yeah, the Bell Hotel in Epping. So Bell Hotel in Epping. Now, it doesn't really matter what it is, whether it's a TV mast going up, whether it's a migrant hotel, whether it doesn't matter what it is, right? People have power, right? People, it should be the people who are in control of the country, right? We elect a government as like admin. So this is how it should work, right? If there was a legal framework to protect ourselves against a tyrannical government, you do everything through the legal change, right? So you peacefully protest, right? Epping Bell Hotel, done. Peacefully protest, yeah. You lobby your local, lobby your local council to get change done. Done. Local council are on side. Everything's good. Ticks in the boxes. You lobby your local member of parliament. Ticks in boxes. Done. Right. Everybody's done. We want to close that hotel down. That hotel should get closed. The government said no, right? The government said no. And that's where it stops. You can't go any further. What should happen if we had the legal framework to protect ourselves from a tyrannical government? The local branch of the Epping militia, and I'm not saying this should happen, guys. I'm saying this is what would happen if we had that legal framework. The local militia, or the local, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Maybe militia is a little bit the wrong word to use. But that's what they have in America. The local militia would say, oh, well, we now have the authority to close this down because the government are not doing it. This is our will. We've gone through all those legal chains and we can now close that down. So you get the local militia go in there, kindly ask everybody to leave and they close it down. That's, and the police, and in that circumstance, they would have the authority, the legal framework to oppose the police. That's what would happen. Now, like Matt's saying, Templar Matt's saying, if people acted like there was a framework, okay, if that happened, if the local people of Epping went to close that hotel down, all those guys are getting sent to prison. They're literally getting sent to prison for assaulting police officers, and I'm going to speculate that nobody I don't, those people would be sent to prison. They'd have lengthy prison times, and that would be a warning to other people. So it's just not, it's just not feasible to do anything without that legal framework. Ken Powell, hello Ken Powell, is saying, no, of course not. I can't see the point of this Ukraine business. Nothing better for us if it finishes soon. Waste of life, waste of money. Our borders should be the priority of the government and army. I think you're 100% right, mate. 100% right. All wars are pointless. They are. All wars are pointless. I know, and I know a lot of people in the military. I know that the people in the military, basically, they understand that the real threat is being able to, is in our country, right? How do I put this? I know a lot of people are from the military, and they understand that you should deal with your problems at home first. I'm just going to leave it there. Danny Walker is talking about his dreams. This dream I had was showing the news and saying it was multiple attacks with hundreds gone and thousands injured. Well, look, guys, I, for one, I'm not going out. I, for one, I'm not leaving the house. I'm not leaving the house. I'm not leaving the house. When I get back, hang on. I am leaving the house. I am leaving the house. I'm going to leave the house now. Is any shops open? I'm going to leave the house now. I'm going to get some shops. I'll probably get a couple of ribeyes. I'm going to come back, and then I'm not leaving the house. Anyway, Danny is saying, Danny had a dream. I had a dream. And he's saying that Danny had a dream, and he's saying there's a big attack coming tonight. Right, let me jump down and get some... Public fear is what drives our enemies. We should all stand forth and continue our daily lives. Like, you see, the problem with this is, it's like, the problem with this is who wants to get hit by a car? I don't want, look, guys, I'll be quite honest with you. I don't want to get hit by a car. I'm good. I don't want to get hit by a car. I'm good. So I think the public fear is right. I think the public fear is right. But we're in, like I said earlier, we're in this really peculiar time, right? We're in this really peculiar time where, and I know the problem, I do understand that the problems are a lot deeper. They're a lot deeper than, some people coming over on rubber dinghies. Like, the problems we have are far, far more multi-dimensional than just stopping people coming over on rubber dinghies. Although that is the first step, right? Let's be able to know that's it's a very easy thing to visualize. Very easy to visualize, very, very easy to visualize, very easy to stop. And that needs to be the first step before we can do anything else. Like, if we can't do that, what's the point in doing anything else? So I do understand that there's this is a multi-dimensional problem. But we are in such a weird time where we all know, I know, you know, where the threat level lies. I mean, I'm just going to ask a question. I genuinely don't know the answer, right? Let's just say that you was walking down the road and you were, let's just say you're walking down the road, right? You're walking in the middle of a road, right? And there's cars coming towards you. So you need to choose one side of the road, right? I don't know the answer to this, right? Let's just say on one side of the road, there is 5 Norwegian fishermen and they're walking towards you, right? 5 Norwegian fishermen. On the other side of the road, there's 5 Somalian fishermen walking towards you. Which side are you going to feel safer on? I don't know the answer to that, guys. I've got no opinion. I love all fishermen. I do. I love all fishermen. So we all know what the perceived threat is. And yes, I get it. I totally get it when people say, the real threat is the people in suits on yachts. Yeah. All these things are true. But we're in this really peculiar time at the moment where it's like self-deletion. It is. It's like self-deletion. It really is. Sean, you need to word things as though we the people are in charge, as we already are legally. We're not. The government and police work for us. Yes, they do, but they don't. They work for whoever pays them. We do not work for them. They are the services. Do you know what? You know when we all have to be. You know when the economy's broken and nobody's got any money and we all have to go on universal basic income. We will definitely work for them. We will definitely work for them then. Band again is saying, is this a Bible quote? Is this a Bible quote? I think this may be a Bible quote. For everything there is a season, peace and war. Turn, turn, turn. There is no running away from it. I just hope, honestly, I really hope that when this is all over, and it will be over at some point, whether there's a look, guys, I was talking to my dad about this. And I said, Dad, there's going to be a mass exodus to Antarctica. And he looked at me. He was like, I said, honestly, there's going to be a mass exodus to Antarctica. And I could see it in his head, right? It was going to tell me to shut up. And he looked and he said, what do you mean? I said, well, think about it, Dad. Where do we go? Literally, where can people, where is the new land that people can go to? And my dad usually tells me to shut up when I'm giving him these wild theories and stuff. And he just went, oh, right. And it is wild. Kev Mills is saying there is a reason they say tempt, not the righteous man, to draw his sword. I don't know what this means. The righteous man fights with a strength unmatched. Are we all getting biblical on these dark hours? Are we getting all biblical, guys? As the tide is turning, are we going all biblical? Because yesterday when I was running, I was getting all Lord of the Ringsist. Yesterday when I was out, I was out running and I was thinking about Lord of the Rings, and there's a part on Lord of the Rings on. Let me know if you know the part on the two towers. They've the orcs have broken into the castle. They're just outside the keep. All the women and children are screaming. They're banging at the door. Aragorn's running around, and he's trying to get things sorted. Theoden King's lost his mind. He's fucking terrified. And Aragorn, he's like, he takes control. He takes charge. He becomes king. And he says, "Is there no other pass? Is there no other way?" And they say, "Is there no other way for the women and children?" He says, "There's a mountain pass, but they will not get far. The Uruk-hai are too many." He says, "Send for the women and children, then barricade the door." And he goes up to Theoden and he says, Theoden says to him, he says, "What can men do against such reckless hate?" And Aragorn, he says, "Ride with me, ride out and meet them." And little Gimli, I love Little Gimli. Little Gimli, he says, the sun is rising. And then you hear Gandalf's voice. You hear Gandalf's voice as like an overarching godly figure. And he says, look to my coming on the 5th day. At dawn, look to the east. And then I look out of the window and the sun's coming in. And yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. I don't know where I was going that. I think what I'm getting at here is, I think where I definitely was going is, you know, the night is darkest just before the dawn. And I do think we're going to get a lot darker. I do. I think we're going to get a lot darker. And I've said this quite a few times. We are going to look back. We are going to look back at 2025 and think, like, this time next year. Well, look, think about it, right? The crux of this live stream has been, global terror threat, New Year's Eve cancelled. And I've just named them. I'm not going to do it again. There's lots of cities, lots of celebrations have been cancelled. That's the reality. So next year, do you think what's going to happen next year? Like, do you think, especially if something bad happens tonight, do you think next year we'll have a great time? I promise you guys, we are going to look back at 2025 from 2026 and say, yeah, it wasn't. At least I could go to the shop and buy what I wanted and I didn't have to have like a ribeye tax or whatever. Fix bayonets. Fix bayonets is saying, with a fantastic thumbnail. I love your thumbnail, Fix bayonets. It's saying, ignore the fear mongering and soldier on as normal. Don't fall for it, troops. I get that, but equally, I don't want to get hit by a car. No, it's not Bible quotes. It's a song by the Birds. I don't know who they are. James is saying, Sean, all Moscow plunged into darkness after another strike. Look, you know, when people, this is a war, right? This is a war. The Ukrainians and the Russians are in a war, right? They're in a war. There's no denying it. They're in a war. I'll say what I always say. Avoid wars at all costs because they're all pointless, all right? They're all pointless. 10 years' time, when the wars are finished, after 10 years, things will literally be back to normal. I don't know where that's different. I don't know what's different. I don't know where that could be said, and it will be different. So avoid wars at all costs. If you find yourself in a war, you know, you need to win that war at all costs. And I don't think there should be, I don't think anything should be taken like, I don't think anything should be out of bounds. Like, if you're in a war, you know, you need to defeat your enemy. That's the reality. Now, wars are usually won by the person who increases their violence from 0 to 10 quickest. Oh, hang on. What did Sherry say? Sherry is saying Templar. Everybody's calling themselves Templars now. Templar Sherry is saying, what do we all think happened to the Channel Tunnel? I've been looking at this in the Channel Tunnel, and like, it's really weird, the lack of information, right? It's really weird, the lack of information that's been out there. When you see a lack of information, okay, this is my speculation. When you see a lack of information, or minimum information, then I think something's being held back. You can only assume, you know, what may or may not have happened. You can only assume what may or may not have happened. What I will say is, remember when there was those, that spate of fires? You know when there was that spate of fires in storage depots in the United Kingdom, I think like DHL fires in the United Kingdom. And everybody was saying, like, you know, and it was just, oh, we just had a fire at another storage depot, and we were looking and thinking, yeah, I'm not calling this. Well, it turns out that those fires at those storage depots, at those DHL depots, they were actually burning Starlink satellite dishes for communications, and they were being sent to Ukraine. New job for Sean, tell stories online. What story should I tell? Yeah, what we found is power grids really are. Look, our power grid in the United, like wherever you live. KK is saying, if that's the power grid being shut off in Russia, clearly we will be next in retaliation. If you think, and now would be the time to cut the power grid, right? In the United Kingdom, now we're getting this cold weather. So if you think that, you know what? Let's just go another direction on this. So wherever you, KK, wherever you live now, KK, and everybody do this, guys. Can you all just visualize this in your heads? Wherever you live, you know, when you're out driving around, do you see these substations and these electricity things and with all the, I don't know, the cables going in, and they go out to the pylons, and they've got them like, I don't even know what they are, like these electricity substations. Like, we all know where they are, right? We drive past them. Like, I'll probably drive past 2 when I go to the shop in a minute. In fact, what time is it? Yeah. I'll probably drive past 2 in a minute or something when I go to, I might even stop and do a video. I will. If I remember, I'll stop and do a video. But we all drive past these substations, right? What security do they have on them? They don't have any security on them. Absolutely no security on them at all. Now, that's because I wouldn't want that substation to go down, because I won't have any electricity. I kind of want, I want my electricity on. Not least for my water pumps and stuff, So I'm not going to go and attack that electricity substation. Also, that's going to put my electricity bill up, right? Because if that gets burnt down, ultimately everybody's electricity bill will go up because they have to pay for that. So I don't want that. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Here's the kicker. If you're not paying for your electricity bill and somebody offers you a couple of grand to go and set a fire on it, it's a no-brainer, right? It's a no-brainer. Template Millie is saying, I'm all prepped, bring it on. Right, guys, I'm gonna leave that there with that bombshell from Template Millie. I'm all prepped and bring it on. I'm gonna leave that there, because hopefully that'll be the thumbnail. Right, guys, look, I have got two more videos I want to do. New council houses to be built for asylum seekers in push to end use of hotels with intense public backlash expected. So I said this, right? I said this, like, when everybody was wanting to close these hotels down, I was like, right, where are these people going to go? They need to go somewhere. I would say keep them in the hotels for now. But look, this all comes down to the main fundamental points that I keep harping on about. We need that framework to oppose a tyrannical government, which we just do not have. So I'm going to jump straight back on. I'll probably go, it might be an hour or something, but I am going to jump on and I'm going to do a short live stream about this, guys, okay? The council houses going to migrants. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that my taxes should be, I don't think that my tax money should be given. I don't think that my tax money should be given to the government to build houses for people who've never contributed to this system. That's just what I think. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close this down now. You guys have been fantastic. I'll be back on shortly. If I don't see you later, I wish you all a fantastic new year. Make the best of it, because I do think next year is going to be worse. But anyway, guys, I'll close this down now, and I'll see you guys very shortly.